Hello and welcome again to Red Gaming Tech. My name is Amata. Today is the 15th of January and I have some rather unfortunate news regarding Hotline Miami 2 as it has been refused classification in Australia. And well, if you've been keeping up with the news / controversy surrounding Hotline Miami 2 wrong number, you may be able to basically deduce that it's due to the scene which depicts rape. And basically that apparently contributed to the Australia Classification Board's decision to refuse the game a rating. Now, the classification page on the ACB site said that it received RC, refused classifications because of the content. Now, the post actually reads, quote, "The computer game, is classified RC in accordance with the National Classification Code, Computer Games Table 1A, as computer games that depict, express, or otherwise deal with matters of sex, drug misuse, or addiction, crime, cruelty, violent, or revolting or abhorrent phenomena in such a way that they offend against the standards of morality, decency, and propriety generally accepted by reasonable adults to the extent that they should not be classified." Now, as I referenced at the start of the video, the Hotline Miami 2 has come under fire for this scene before. Now, obviously it's not out yet, so it basically was the demo, in which basically there is a scene of implied rape. Now basically it's part of an in-game movie scene between two actors, so basically they're making a film in the game, and that particular scene is not an actual rape scene, it's them filming a rape scene for a film. Now, it was still heavily criticised for the explicit content, and the demo had the scene removed. However, the co-creator Dennis Wedden did refuse to commit to removing it from the full game. Now, it looks like he has stuck to his guns, as according to a detailed and explicit description of an offending scene in the classification, and by the way, this is not safe for work if you're easily offended or triggered or whatever, I suggest skipping over the next 10 seconds or so. Now, basically, they say in which the player, quote, is viewed pinning a female down by the arms and lying on top of her, thrusting, implicitly raping her, either rear entry or anally, while her legs are viewed kicking as she struggles beneath him. So, yes, it's been left intact, pretty much, you know, wholesale. Now, as I said, I heavily criticised the criticism of this scene. Now, it's not actually a rape scene. As I said, they're filming a film in the game. Now, it's still a very shocking and disturbing scene. Rape is always going to be shocking and disturbing when it appears in anything. That's exactly how it should be. However, I asked this question when people were criticising the demo, and I will ask this question again now. Why are rape scenes okay in films, but not in games? There are plenty of films, not huge amounts, of course, and not exactly, you know, widespread or anything, but there are a fair few films that have actual legitimate rape scenes, as in they're not filming a film in the film and there's a rape scene in the film that they're filming. This is an actual rape scene taking place in the film that this character is actually being raped. In Hotline Miami, she's not actually being raped, they're acting. So do you get what I'm saying? So why is it okay in films but not in games? Obviously, Australia, despite their R rating, are still kind of a little bit iffy when it comes to R-rated games. They, of course, refused Saints Row 4 classification, I think, twice before they finally allowed it when certain things were removed. So it's not surprising that Australia is the one who have done this, but it just makes me shake my head when it's things like this that are stopping from games being taken seriously the same way that films are. The fact that we're somehow not allowed to discuss disturbing or troubling topics. Games are very much allowed to do that, in my opinion. If games are to be taken seriously as a potential art form, we should be allowed to discuss things. Obviously, lies and decency, etc, etc, etc. But, you know, films discuss harrowing, horrible, and make us think. That's fine. That is all good. Obviously, a film that depicts, I don't know, it's not a snuff film is never going to be okay, but that's completely different, and you know that's not what I mean. A game should be allowed to discuss the same thing as a film that has been allowed to be showed in theatres, released on DVD or whatever. So, to be honest, I kind of shake my head a little bit that this is coming under fire again, but it's just one of those things. Of course, if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I do like a bit of discussion. I just think that, look, we want the games to be taken seriously. Games can be fun, they can be silly, they can be harrowing, they can be thought-provoking, or they can just be silly, casual games, or whatever. They should be allowed to be whatever they want to be. within, of course, normal rules, etc, etc, etc. But basically arbitrarily saying you can't discuss rape because fuck my happiness or fuck your creative vision isn't good enough. Give me a good reason, please, because I don't understand. I'm a film buff, I'm a game buff, I'm a book buff, and all of those medias, except for games, no one ever goes, why is this rape scene in this film? Blah, blah, blah. If it's an adult-rated film or book, then yeah, you shouldn't let your kids read it, but as long as you're fully aware of the kind of disturbing content it might have, as long as there's a warning, may have triggering content or something like that, I don't see why that's a problem. Same with games. So that's my opinion on that. Hopefully they will come around without the scene having to be removed, but that's very unlikely. Most likely Dennis Whiddin is going to have to cave and is actually going to have the scene removed or at least altered for Australian audiences, which is kind of crappy, but that's, hey, one of those things. Anyway, that is me done for this rather long, rambly video, and I'll see you next time.